Feeling a lot more comfortable up there.
Oh, close. PS4 is such a big problem. You know? I mean, it's too bad that fighting games are confined to consoles at a competitive level. What's the fucking problem? I mean, all of these fighting games, the premier ones, they're all on PC, right? So, what is keeping PC from becoming the standard the way it is in all these other electronic sports, right? What's the problem? What's the issue here keeping fighting games from being PC? I think the issue is that no matter what, the decision makers and the pillars of the scene, the people who run the tournaments, the majors, those people are forced to use console for one reason or another. And because of those people, there's no way the standard will change. The standard has to change at a base level, and I don't think it can. If the standard changes at a base level, then the sponsors will realize that, oh shit, there's room for money in the fighting game scene because they all play on PC. So we make graphics cards, we make fucking all this other shit. Let's, you know, support the fighting game scene, right? But in order for them to give a fuck, the existing current standard tournament organizers have to show them that there's a fuck to give, right? So that's really the big issue. The PC has to become the standard, not just for Tekken, for all games. That's the way it is. It has to, because this console shit is whack. It's like a joke now. It's become a joke, right? It's actually so laughable that I think it's hurting all of the fighting games. Right? When sponsors watch this shit and they're seeing all these fucking issues, right? Like problems, it's just awful. It's awful. They don't want to have any part in this shit. It's like, what the fuck? Fighting games are played at a competitive level on these sorry ass consoles? We're out of here. There's no money in this. These kids are like, this is a joke, right? So they gotta at a grassroots level, they have to start changing the standard to PC. And I don't think they can or will. I don't think it's even possible because of the money needed. It has nothing to do with player base on console. It has nothing to do with anything. The standard needs to be on PC at a competitive level. Only because of sponsorship. That's it. It needs to be. Otherwise, we're going to be in the kiddie pool forever. Yeah, it's just so expensive. That's the bottom line. Really, that's the only, that's it. It's not going to happen because it's too expensive. But it does happen for other electronic sports. There's nothing holding fighting games back anymore. Because all of the premier ones are on PC and they work very well on PC. In most cases, they're better on PC.
Thank you.
So it's just becoming a huge issue. It just needs to be, something needs to happen to change the overall, everything. The whole, from a low level. Like, you know, the grassroots tournaments need to figure out a way to make it on PC to show sponsors that there's something to care about here. There's no sponsors. This is just what comes to my mind when I'm watching these competitive matches, right? I mean, it's like, it's too bad. But yeah, on the topic of tournaments, definitely, I don't see there being too much growth. And the thing is, why does it matter if you use PC or PS4? I'll tell you two reasons why it matters. First of all, the PS4 is by far the inferior platform to play on. So, you're hindering the players and forcing them to practice on a platform that is totally inferior in almost every way, right? So that's one reason. But more importantly, if you switch to PC, you're going to show way, way more sponsors that there's something here for them to invest their money in. Right now, on console, you're limiting the number of sponsors to things outside of the gaming world because it's on console. So you got Cup of Noodles and you got Totino's Pizza Rolls and shit, but you know, and headphones, right? You got headphone companies. But if you are on PC, you know how many companies there are that make random shit for PC that have a huge budget? Tons. You know, graphics cards, capture cards, RAM. There's like tons of shit that could sponsor the Tekken World Tour. But they don't give a fuck because that shit's on the POS4. So for the growth, and it's not just the Tekken Tour. Capcom Pro Tour, Street Fighter, and Marvel are both on PC. Guilty Gear, any of these fighting games, the premier ones, have a superior version on PC for the most part. So it would open up the whole community to like way more attention, way more sponsorship. And historically, the rationale was that there is no PC version. It went from arcades to consoles, and there were no PC versions. But now that's not the case. There's a PC version for everything. So there's no real excuse other than that the grassroots tournaments have not made it the standard example for the sponsors to realize that there's something here. And the reason they haven't done that is because they can't afford it. And they can't afford it because PCs are hella expensive. So until, it's like a chicken and the egg scenario, right? Right now, the sponsors aren't interested because there's nothing to be interested in, and the grassroots tournaments can't make anything happen without sponsors. So it's like a kind of a fucking, it's like we're stuck. We're stuck with consoles because the grassroots tournaments can't afford them, and the sponsors can't justify allowing the grassroots tournaments to afford them because they haven't shown them that. It's a bummer. But it's starting to get annoying to me. This PS4 shit is starting to get annoying. Not just for Tekken, for every game. You know what I mean? Maybe it's because PS4 is a very underwhelming console. It's been underwhelming since launch. Even the PS4 Pro, which is not a tournament standard console, is not that good of a console. So what are you going to do? It's not even the tournament standard.
Set point for JDCR, but Saint answering back right now. Debug the blue one, leaves him alive with just a pistol.
And now it seems like there's issues with multiple USB ports being, like, they draw the power away from the USB.
But they extend. Uh-oh!
Oh my God.
Boy!
So you literally get a player like Saint accidentally getting an unplugged controller because the USB of the console lost power. That's fucked up. We're in the middle of a, you know, tournament match here.
It is a loss for Saint. So that is reset.
Now, okay, what does that tell me? Why did that happen?
Why
did that happen? Is Saint worried about his arcade stick? I would be. That could happen right now, over and over. He didn't switch sticks, did he?
That sucks. I don't like...
Yeah, I don't like that either.
Situation.
But, you know, every player is responsible for their own peripheral, man.
Yeah,
I mean, you know.
I mean, in that situation, I don't even know if it's the peripheral. That's why I don't like it.
Yeah, that's what I mean. The mind game. The placebo is there. Did that happen? You know, was that a flunk?
Of course. Who knows?
Am I a crab?
Yeah.
I don't know. That's the question. Am I or am I not a crab?
Well, here it is. The grand finals are reset.
Oh, boy. JDCR's a crab in this case, huh?
Koreans do tournaments on PC now. Well, I mean, that's cool, but we need it to become the standard for everyone. And I don't know how easy that is to accomplish. At this point, it's a joke. Console is really fucking everything up. It's fucking everything up on so many levels, logistically, and it's holding back the growth by a lot. I think it's more of a big deal than people give it credit to be. It's holding back growth, especially when you see like Cup of Noodles has become a big sponsor. You know, it makes you realize that the types of sponsors that we can get are outside of gaming, which is a good thing because Cup of Noodles is a big sponsor, right? Everyone's heard of it. But it's a bad thing in the sense that, like, damn, we got to get food companies to sponsor our tournaments because all these graphics cards and all these different components to PCs, these companies, they're not interested. There's nothing to be interested in.
Yeah, not much you can do. It feels like
Oh,
the
well.
offense